everybody, come on in. Let's have this discussion because I know some people, especially if you've known me for a while, were like, no, she didn't. She owned that mess. She gonna mess her body up. I know who you are, and just take a seat and listen. So if you've known me my whole life, you have known me to have weight fluctuations. The sad part is when I look back at pictures of myself in my teen years, in my early adulthood, I wasn't fat. I've always been very, very curvy, and I still am. So with that, if you think about the generation and the influences of the generation, my personal story is that I was almost made into a villain for having curves. You know, thankfully, we went through that phase for my generation where all of the clothes were really big and over exaggerated. So I got to hide all of that for a very long time. And I was happy to do it because in my early 20s, I went into the military, and that uniform alone did not fit me correctly. I stayed in trouble because of my uniform and my weight. I was actually almost kicked out of the military because at 5 feet 5 inches and 150 pounds, I was deemed clinically obese. I still have my paperwork. If anybody wants to debate that, I still have all of my original medical records. And it's written right there on my records that I was clinically obese at 150 pounds, which I guess I'm not a doctor. That might technically be true. Anyway, being in the military, I was being monitored. My thyroid was being monitored. My glucose, all of that was being monitored. I know this because I have my original medical records. When I got out of the military and was gaining 5 pounds a week, I was like, something is going on here. I need somebody to tell me something. People within the military, like Veterans Commission and those that had been working with veterans, were saying, okay, you need to file for compensation. And I had done that, but I kind of dismissed it because I got denied. And they're like, no, you need to file for compensation and see if they can determine what is going on with you. That was 1993 when I got out. So I did. I filed for compensation. When I got out, I'm gaining weight constantly, pound after pound. I'm being told, hey, here's a weight loss plan. Go ahead and follow this and you'll be okay. I was not okay. I asked to be seen for my thyroid. We don't give compensation for thyroid. So that pretty much was dismissed. I was having gut issues. I'm still having gut issues. And that was tossed out. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on with my body. Then my hair starts falling out. Then my teeth start shifting. And if you do a little research, you'll realize all of those are connected to the thyroid, which is also connected to endocrine glands. Your endocrine glands can be disrupted on so many different levels. It can be, from what I understand, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm just telling a lived experience here. Endocrine glands can be disrupted by environmental factors, genetic factors. There's a bunch of components to go with that. Now, when I was in the military, I was deployed to a lot of places so many people never heard of. When I tell people my stories of low crawling through sewage and sleeping in foxholes and out in the middle of fields, most look at me like I'm crazy because everyone associates the military in general with men, and those stories definitely with men. Women don't do that. Yeah, we did. We did that too, right along with the men. So in the Philippines, one of my deployments, the latrine broke, and we were doing these recon training missions. We had to low crawl through that. They told us like the next day that the latrine had broken and that we were crawling through our own sewage. So when you start thinking about all of the factors, the pesticides, insecticides that were being sprayed while we were being deployed, so many things factor into that. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just feeling horrible. I'm gaining weight, hair falling out, skin breaking out, all sorts of things that are just going crazy with my body, and I'm not understanding it. So I deal with it. I just deal with it. And I keep working out and I keep trying to eat well. But anyone who struggled with their weight know they get to that point of eating where it's like, I don't care. I'm eating whatever I want because I'm not going to lose weight anyway, and it doesn't matter. My body composition didn't change. I'm still curvy, but now I've got all of these layers of fat. Now I'm being diagnosed with fatty liver. Now I'm recognizing as years go by, food's not processing out of my system. Trust me, if you're not pooping for 21 days straight, that is a red flag and a call for action. I was begging my primary care to send me to a gastroenterologist. My primary care actually in Dallas, Texas. I won't say her name. I'm not there anymore, so I don't want to disrupt her practice. But when I moved from Texas to California in 1998, and I was telling my primary care at the time that I was having all these issues, and she was the first person to listen to me, which made a huge difference. And she's like, tell me what's going on with you, because I'm establishing myself with her as a new patient. And she's like, tell me what's going on. And I was like, well, I feel pretty good. And she looked up at me and she said, no, there's more going on with you. Tell me what's going on with you. And I was like, okay, well, I haven't had a bowel movement in a while. And she's like, well, okay, take psyllium. That'll move things through. It's like, yeah, I do that. I take psyllium. I eat a lot of fruit, water. I walk a lot. I exercise. And she's like, well, take more psyllium. I told her how much psyllium I was taking. She stopped writing, looked up at me and said, you need to see a specialist, because I think I had been taking like a cup, the equivalent of a cup of psyllium a day, and nothing was moving through my system. I was pooping maybe every 14 days. No doctor before her even acknowledged that I had said that. So something is definitely going on with my body. I definitely need to see a specialist, but our healthcare system is changing and I can't get a recommendation because whatever happened during that period, it was just really weird. And the insurance was not going to pay for a specialist. I'm waiting, hoping someone will get me in with a specialist. Fast forward many years later, now in 2020, I'm going to say it started in 2023. Now I can't digest food. I mean, I'm now starting to throw up, and either my poop, I keep a poop log. I was told to keep a poop log. So I'm now pooping every 20 something days, unless I'm doing a laxative, and it's just totally out of control. I am now in Thailand. And even though I'm paying out of pocket for this, I don't have to wait to see any specialist for any aspect of my life. So I am hoping that at some point I'll get an actual diagnosis of what's going on with my gut. I said all of that to say this, because I know someone is going, why the hell are you taking Wegovy? Why are you doing that? I wasn't processing anything. Nothing was coming out of my system. And when the GLP conversation started and Wegovy and Ozempic and all of that, I was like, oh, folks gonna be dead in 10 years. I'm 60 now. I've had a good run. So as morbid as that sounds, I'm serious. I needed a solution. There were no one was offering me solutions. Everyone had commentary about how I should change my diet, what I should eat. And when people that have never had an issue with their weight give you information on what you need to do, it's infuriating. And I was getting that from people. I'm hearing, what I should do, when I should do it. Oh, you should eat this. This is what I eat. I do these supplements. Okay, that's fantastic for you. But I have an underlining condition that started when I was in the military, and I need somebody to tell me what that is and give me a solution and a diagnosis, because I'm tired of trying to self-diagnose myself. Anyway, 2022, I hired a nutritionist because I figured if I'm not eating right, let me be proactive in this and start eating right. And I had great success with them. Their process, let's get the food right first and then work out. So, and I've been working out. I mean, good Lord, I was in the military. I can't work out like that anymore because I have nerve damage in my neck and shoulder from an auto accident. It was a lot of cleansing. My body was just so congested, and I recognized the cleansing did indeed help. The weight started coming down. I finished a 26-week program, quite successful, within weeks of stopping the program because it also required a lot of supplements, and I hadn't worked since 2018. I could not continue to afford that. The weight started coming back on, and I'm still eating the same way. I'm just not doing supplements and cleansings the way they had instructed. The weight starts going back up, and I'm like, okay, something's going on. When I started throwing up and either not pooping at all or like a flush through my body, I'm like, something is really going on here. So I get healthcare through the VA. I went back like, hey, can I see a gastroenterologist? Here is what's going on. This is amplifying. I had an appointment, it got canceled. Yeah. If you're a veteran, you already know. So eventually I saw an ad that was run on one of the veteran portals that I'm attached to, that you can get a GLP, specifically Wegovy, if you go through the weight management program that they have. And I'm like, why not? So I went through the weight management program again. They went over my diet that I had gotten from the nutritionist, and they're like, this is a really good diet, so stick to this. What aren't you doing? You need to work out more. And people are always like, you need to work out more. Okay, sure. Sure. Why not? I'm working out. I'm doing weights. I'm doing resistance bands. The weight is not coming off. So I went into their program May 20th, 2025 for Wegovy. And I was very scared at first because, number one, I don't like shots. I don't think there are a few people that really are into them. I'm not one of those people. I started doing the Wegovy, and by May, June, July, my birthday's in July, I was totally disillusioned. I was going to stop. There was no weight loss. Nothing was happening. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm wasting my time. But the coach, because you get a coach with it, the coach was like, do not stop it abruptly. Continue. It'll take a while. Some people don't see results until up to a year. So just maintain it. She was very encouraging. I really appreciated that. So I didn't stop it. I kept going. And by, I guess I could say, September, I'd lost 6 pounds and they stayed off. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is working. Then I travel with my cousins when they go out of the country. And I'm like, okay, let's see if it is indeed the food, or if there's a difference in this country as opposed to being in the United States with this. I lost 20 pounds from February to May. 20 pounds. Not a great miracle. The food is processed differently here. I'm not going to say the food is different. It's the same. A chicken is a chicken wherever you go, unless that chicken has antibiotics and things injected into it. I walk a lot here. You got to drink water because it's hot, or I don't know if I'll explode or just die. I drink water. Everything here is walkable. The food, even American food, is accessible because I am in walking distance of a McDonald's, soon to be a Burger King, a Pizza Hut, a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I didn't eat that in the United States. I'd get so sick there eating it, I could not process that food out of my body. So since I've been here, lots of walking, lots of eating fresh fruit, love the street vendors for that, because that by itself has just been miraculous. And the diet here basically is protein, vegetables, and starch. or I should say rice, which technically is a starch. Not a lot of bread. They're bread options. They're fried options, but it's more of a, I want to say not soup, because that tom yum, ooh, that's good. Not necessarily soup, but lots of chicken. You know, you get your protein, not huge on the beef, although I do eat a lot more beef here because I really love Korean food and they have a lot of Korean restaurants here. But that's my reasoning for doing the Wegovy. I did not want to do it. What have I seen since I've been doing it? Not much. I want to say muscle loss. Everyone said, you know, you're going to lose a lot of muscle if you don't work out. You need to be working out. So I do my resistance band workouts. My last physical, my doctor said, start lifting actual weights. My muscle tone started going away in 2020 when it felt like the world was collapsing because everyone was shutting themselves in. So I decided if I'm going to be shut in, I'm going to be shut in with a big ass bag of tortilla chips from Costco and a bucket of salsa. Literally, I did that. I went and stocked up at Costco before we were told, you know, everybody stay home. And that by itself was detrimental to my muscle tone. So I have lost muscle tone, but as you can see, it's not truly excessive depending on who you are. If you're a trainer, a doctor, or whatever, you might say, oh my God, she's got a huge amount of muscle tone and she needs to do something about that. But that's been it. I've had some weird hiccups. I'd been dealing with hair loss for a while. The CCP and CCC, I have like 3 different types of alopecia, which working on that's coming back in. My skin, in my humble opinion, except for that pimple right there, looks a lot better than it did last year this time. So everyone's story is different. I didn't do it because I want to hit a certain weight goal. I want to be healthy. Being able to eliminate from my system is very important to living. And it has, it's been helpful with that. But until I see a gastroenterologist to see what is actually going on with my gut, I'm not going to know, because even with the Wegovy, some people have severe constipation with it, but I had that before taking it. So I am hoping for a solution after I see the specialists. I have been being seen by an endocrinologist since 2020. I finally got VA compensation for my thyroid in 2025. Yeah. I first filed in 1993. And I absolutely do not get a retro check back to that time because my rating is at 0%, because I guess in the past 5 years, they just decided to acknowledge that a thyroid condition could be formed in the military. When you get a bunch of healthy people coming into your establishment and all of them collectively start having the same issue. But who am I? Who am I to say that should be reevaluated? And if you are a veteran and you are dealing with endocrine issues, please try to see a specialist before you do Wegovy or anything else. Try to get in with a specialist. That is going to be hard in this climate. Another reason I'm overseas, because I want to be able to see someone if I'm having an extreme issue. I've had my primary care with the VA change 3 times within the past 7 months. I've only been gone 4. I've only been gone 4 months. And within the past 7 months, I've had alerts that my primary care with the VA has changed. So veterans, y'all know, you already know that it's a long winding road to get accurate, adequate health care for us. But do not give up. I don't know what the program is currently with the GLPs for veterans. So check your local VA hospital or with your Veterans Commission. Check the VA website to see what's going on with that. And start your journey for good health on your terms. I have 6 months. I am now, since I've been on it for a year, I'm in the maintenance phase. So with the maintenance phase, it's basically to wean you off. I am personally thinking if I've had success over here as quickly as I've had, the medication probably helped, but the walking and the different eating definitely has factored into it. But I'm not a doctor. Again, I'm going to say that until people hear me. I am not a doctor. Once I hit the rate at which I want to be, then I guess I'll be happy. I just want to be healthy. I want to feel good. I want to feel right. I don't want to be doubled over in pain because I'm like not pooping for dang near a month. That's an alert to somebody. Someone other than myself should be alerted by that. But anyway, I hope y'all can get something from this, my rambling, because it just went straight into rambling. I didn't do notes or anything. Am I happy with the progress? Yes. Does it hurt to take the shot? No. It's a pinch. It's just like a little pinch. I still don't like doing it. I don't. I started off by doing it in my thigh, and I switched to my stomach because I really didn't think anything was happening. Do I still work out? Yeah. Every opportunity I get to do my resistance bands, I do it. I don't even care what I'm wearing when I'm doing it because that takes away from me trying to be fancy when I work out, because back in the States, I had all types of gym clothes because I, do my walking and working out. But here, I'll stop and do it after I get back from wherever I've gone, just so I know I've worked out. But as the doctor told me, I need to be working out, doing more strength training for my age, and just to pull all of this back together. What I know will not happen is the curves aren't going away. They are here. And I like that. I really like my body shape and always have, but I've always been teased in some way, shape, or form. And the fact that being in communities where people genuinely don't know how to stay in their own lane and everyone having commentary about my behind has just always been very exhausting, incredibly exhausting. But at this big age, I just feel great about life. And if I can get this one thing on point, all of the other things that are going on, I can just put them on the back burner. And it's hard to put nerve damage, a constant pain. It's hard to put a constant pain on the back burner. But if it's internal, if I just feel like I have so many toxins in my body if I'm not pooping, right? Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, I hope somebody got something from this. Join me later for more ramblings about weight loss and whatever. But here's the last thing I want everyone to take away from my page. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to influence you. I am here to inspire, which is why since I've moved, I see all these videos about people talking about, oh, I pay this for that, I pay for that. I'm out doing stuff. By the time you get here, the prices will have changed. So don't worry about the prices. Enjoy the journey. Okay? Enjoy the journey and be inspired to take a journey of your own, whether it is your health, to combat your fears, or just because you want to see one of these beautiful temples. My goodness. Okay? So everybody have a great day and stay healthy. Stay healthy.